How's it going, guys? Bainey here, and welcome to Facebook Ads for Small Businesses, where I teach small business owners just like you exactly how to run Facebook ads for your business, so you don't have to pay someone like me thousands of dollars a month to do it for you. In today's video, guys, video 27, I'll be showing you how to set up your first conversion campaign. So we're finally at the point where we're creating the ads. If you've been following along, you should have everything in place to get up to this point, like installing pixels, creating custom audiences, getting the basics down pat before we jump into creating ads. This video is going to go for a little longer. It's going to go for about 25 to 30 minutes because I wanted it to be fairly detailed so you have a good idea of how to set up this ad correctly for yourself. But before I get into it, guys, if you're following along, hit that subscribe button for us, hit that like button. If you have any questions whatsoever regarding this video or any of my other videos, post it in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer it. And let's jump into today's video where I'll show you how to set up your first conversion ad. I've just picked a date in the future, so all these columns are empty, just so it's not confusing and stuff like that for anyone that's brand new in this. And your account should look something like this. If it doesn't, it's because Facebook's changed something, they've updated something. They change this all the time. All the same features will still be there. You'll still have, all your settings over here and stuff like that. And you'll still have these drop-down boxes. You'll still have campaign, ad set. This is the ad set level. Then there's the ad level, and the campaign is where you actually pick your objective, and I'll show you that in a second. The ad set level is really where you pick your audience and pick your budget and stuff like that, who you want to target. And then on the ads level is where you create the ad itself. So when we set up an ad, we always want to make sure it's on the campaign level, and we always want to make sure the ad account is the correct ad account. If you've opened up multiple ad accounts, make sure it's the ad account we first set up, and it's the one with connected to your pixel and all that sort of stuff. So make sure it's the right ad account because you don't want to be running ads on an ad account that has no pixel attached to it. Make sure that is the right ad account before we create an ad. That being said, you might have this resources section. I might jump into a video on that another day. It's just, it's a little bit more complex. Let's just jump into campaigns. So let's go to create. For the purposes of this video, I'm just going to use a conversion ad. So just click conversion. Going to set this up like I would set up selling a product for an e-com store. So this is how I would name it. I'm going to be using an interest today. So the interests, and that's probably what I'll leave it for now. This is on the campaign level. I usually just leave it pretty basic on the campaign level, something like that. I might come back and change it later on depending on what I do on the ad set levels. Really, that's all we would need to do on this section for now. I would leave that off if you're just getting started. And just hit next down the bottom here. And what that does is it takes us to the ad set level. So as you can see on the ad set level here, it's named ad set level here, and it's also here on the left hand side. Keep it in order. I just copy interest. I will add to this later on. Website, if you've got an e-com store and you're selling products, you probably just want to go straight to purchases. It's probably the easiest way to do it, to be honest. Probably, if you've got a decent budget, just start with purchases. Let's just do that. Start with purchases. Your budget, I have spoke about budget before. You want a daily budget that you can comfortably afford every single day without breaking the bank, without missing your bills, without something going short, not putting fuel in your car or whatever. But as a rule of thumb, if you're only spending $10 a day, I would only have 2 ads in that ad set. At a very maximum. Like I would probably start on $20 a day and I would only have 2 ads. So if you are starting on 10, you can have 2, but I wouldn't do any more than 2 if you're only doing $10 a day. And I'll show you what I mean by that later on when we start doing split tests and stuff like that. If this is the very first ad you want to do, you want to just, let's just pretend you're doing $20 a day. That's fine. What I do is I normally set it for the next morning. So I usually start it at 4 o'clock in the morning. On the next day. I don't put an end date. I never put an end date. I'll show you how to turn ads off when they're not performing, because you don't want to set an end date for a month's time and then, for instance, this ad goes really, really good and then in a month's time it ends. You don't want to do that. You want it to run, forever until it stops performing. Never put an end date. Have ads running all the time. Don't touch that. Come down here. So we're not going to touch anything in the custom audiences in this section, because this is a brand new ad. We don't need to worry about that. In locations, I'm Australia, so I'm just going to leave it as Australia. Ages would obviously depend on whatever your product is. So if you're going to sell where in this product, I'm actually going to be targeting parents. I would leave it just wide open, and I'll just let Facebook sort that out. So I would usually just leave 18 to 35. I would only limit the age groups if your audience is definitely older or definitely younger. So if you're selling like, I don't know, like makeup, you wouldn't be targeting 65-year-olds. And then if you're selling something that is for older people, you wouldn't be targeting 18-year-olds. Leave that up to your discretion. Come down here. This is where we pick our interests. So I want to turn that off to start off with. This is the first ad. I don't want that on. And I want to target parents. Because this is my first ad, I'm going to put 3 interests in here. Later on down the track, I'll tell you why we usually only have 1. But to start off with, our main objective is to find a winning creative. And so we need a bigger audience to do that. So demographics, what's that? 2.5 million. And what I'd usually do, I would just come down here, interests, family, yeah. And I would usually go, because the product I'm selling for this business is targeted with people with babies. 0 to 12 months would be perfect. What's that? 13 million. So that audience size is massive. I'd probably get rid of family because it's too big. 2.6 million. 2.6 million is a good size. We could even add this one in there too. 2.5. Let's leave it at that. That's a good size. Make sure to turn that off. We don't want that on to start off with. What do we got here? Yeah, leave all that as is. That's fine. Automatic. We want to just leave it on recommended. People try and play around with this too much, and it's just, if it's your first ad, you don't want to get into this. Just leave it as automatic. It's just the way to go. This is always going to be on conversion, so leave that as is if you're doing a conversion ad. Come down here. You want to make sure, to start off with, leave this at 7 days after clicking. I'll get into this whole thing in another video because it is a little bit confusing, to be honest. Just leave all that as is. And we just want to, we did, okay. So now we got new parents, parents or. So what I would come up here and go, new parents, 0 to 1 year, I think it was, or 2 years, slash, what was the other interest I did? Parents or. That just lets me know when I'm looking at the ad sets. It's a lot easier. I don't have to click into them. I know what interest it is. We might even, just for example purposes, let's just throw the ages in there. Let's just go, 40, 22 to 40. 22 to 40. And what I want to do is I want to just copy that. So that's pretty much the ad set up. Did change the reach at just 870,000. It's dropped down a little bit. We could probably even add another interest in there if we wanted to, but to be honest, we're only going to be spending $20 or something a day, so that's going to be a big enough audience. Let's come down here. So leave all this the same. Leave all this the same. So just want to come next. So we just completed the ad set level. We're just going to go create the ad itself now. So at the very top, you just paste that naming convention in there just to keep it all even. And I'll call this, we'll add to that soon. So I'm going to come down here, make sure your Facebook page selected, make sure your Instagram page selected. Here's the ad setup, so we can either go create ad, use existing post, or a creative hub mockup. I'm just going to create ad, just so it's all from scratch. We can come down here, we can do a single image or video, a carousel or a collection. I'll get into carousels and collections in another video. For the purposes of this video, it's just going to be single video or image. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have a single video in this one. So just nice and easy. Add video. And what it's going to do is you can just, these are videos I've already uploaded before, so I'm just going to use one of those. But if you've got brand new, you're going to have no videos in here. You just go upload and then select the video from your computer, wherever it's stored on your computer. This is the one I'm going to pick. See, I've named it Me and Chantel because we created this ad, so that's just the way I've named it, so I know which video it is. So then I've named something there, Me and C Blue, it's got the blue outer. So pick a naming convention that suits videos that just so you don't get confused. You don't want to name them all generic. They don't want to be all named the same thing because it just gets too confusing. Pick this video. Shows you what it's going to look like. Okay, done. It's going to come up here on the right hand side. Cool, and here's where we put our primary text. I've got some text ready to go, so I'll just grab that. So I put my text in here. I always put the link down the bottom here. I usually do a little emoji pointing to it so it looks a little cool. A bit of advice, I guess. When you're creating an ad, you want as many white spaces as possible. So can have a gap there. You want it to look good. You don't want it all bunched up like this because people see a big block of writing like that and they're just going to keep scrolling. You want to add as many spaces and white spaces as you can. So just keep that in mind. Just helps it look better. So that done. Later on we can add more text. I'll show you how to do that in another video. Here's where we want to put our headline. So again, I've copied that. And our headline is it will go down the bottom here. It will pop up here in a second. And for that to pop up, we've got to have a button. So what button do you want to use? Shop now, learn more. Depending on whatever product or service you are, it's going to be obviously different for you. It might be get quote or download or something like that, but I'm just going to have shop now for now. So if we scroll down here, I'm going to put a URL in here. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this URL here. So this is actually a custom link that I've built. I'll get into custom links in another video. What you would obviously do is you just put the URL link to the product that you're selling. You want to put the landing page. You don't want to put the home page of your website. You want to actually put the product page website so people don't have to click through your website to try and find the product they just seen on Facebook. There's your headline, and like I said, the headline comes up here down here. In description, so this is a bit of a weird one. This will only show up on certain format. Most people are going to be viewing your ad on their phone, so this is all they're going to see. If they're viewing it on a desktop, let's just see if I can bring it up. You can see what it looks like on different stuff. You're going to give us a desktop view. No, it doesn't look like it's going to do. But like on a desktop, it does look different. If you wanted to, you can add extra text in here, like whatever you wanted to, like we can help you your get. See, obviously, because this is just a mobile view, that is not going to show up. But when people view it on desktop, then it will show up down here. And sometimes it gets a bit crowded. So to be honest, most people are just going to be viewing your ads on the mobile. So I would leave it empty. It is optional anyways. Just to save it looking weird or stupid like that, just leave it blank. Come down here. You want to obviously put your URL. I would always recommend previewing it. You don't want to run a link that's broken. You might, for some reason, not have copied it properly. Something like that. Here's the ad going to Baby Sleep Magic, the app we're promoting. And it's a Baby Sleep Magic app. You want to take them directly to the page that sells them. You don't want to take them to the home page and then they have to try and click around and find the page to buy stuff. So it's not what you want. So yep, that's all good. That link's working fine. Display link. That display link is optional. Mine looks good. The display link here is babysleepmagic.com. At the moment, mine looks good. For some reason, if yours looks weird, or it might just say something weird. It might not be what you want. You can change that here. So test.com. We'll see if that changes it. See how it changes it here? You can change that. If your URL looks fine, I would leave it. But if for some reason the URL is just something weird, I don't know, it does happen to people's businesses because of their website. It might say WordPress in there /pages or something like that. You just literally put whatever you want here and it just makes it look better. Keep that in mind. It won't click to go anywhere. Like you can literally put google.com if it lets me. Yeah. But if they click my ad, they're not going to go to google.com. It's literally just for display. Put whatever you want there. Put we help baby sleep or something like that. we help. If I wanted to do that. So just, you know, so it looks cool, like wehelpbabysleep.com. It's going to go to my main website. It's not going to go to some random wehelpbabysleep.com website. So it's literally just for display. But just keep that in mind if URL here looks crap. Also on the previous page, if you're targeting English-speaking countries, just leave the language bit blank. Come down here. Add your own translation. Okay, that's new. Translate your ads, Rich. Okay, that's cool. To be honest, just leave it. You're probably not going to need it. Turn your website events on. Make sure your domain tracking is green and it's good to go. If it's not, go back and watch some of my other videos and I explain how to set all this up. It should all be automatically set up and good to go, but if it's not, then go back to my other videos and watch that. All this other stuff, to be honest, is you're not going to need it. I use this section to use custom links, but for you, you're not going to need it, so just leave all that blank. Just going to see if there's anything we missed. Okay, we could come back up here if we wanted to and pick the video, and you could go edit video, and you can pick your thumbnail. So what you want your thumbnail to be on the video. So it could be, let's just change it to this. So whatever you want your thumbnail to be. When you upload the video, it's got a crap thumbnail, just go in there, edit video, thumbnail. You can leave it as automatic, and what Facebook will do is it will swap thumbnails out, and it will show your thumbnails to different people, and then eventually it will just settle on the best thumbnail that they think is working the best. You can leave it as automatic if you want, but you know, if you've got a thumbnail you really want to use, you can upload your own thumbnail, or you can just pick one they've got selected here. So keep that in mind. Quickly run over here, make sure we haven't forgotten anything. These instant experiences, Facebook events, obviously you're not going to need that for this, so just leave those all alone. I'm going to call this one video 1. I'm going to call it add 1. Add 1, and then I would have somewhere written down add 1 in my notes or something. Add 1 equals video me and Chantel, the name of the video I used, and then you could also name it how to get your baby to sleep. You would call add 1. See, this is what I'll do. Add 1, you'd come over to your notes. So you come over to your notes and it would literally go add 1, and you'd call it, you'd go video me and Chantel, because that's the name of the video. You can say copy, which is the text, and you'd have it like copy, you know, what I usually do is whatever's at the top. And then headline, whatever the headline is. So that would be add 1. So then later on when I got add 2, come down here a little bit, add 2, I'll show you how to do that split testing and stuff later on, but just that's one way of doing it. So I'll show you more split testing and stuff later on, but that's pretty much all we need to do for this video. Once you're happy with it, just do a quick check over, name it, make sure it's named, add 1. Come back here to the ad set level. When you're first getting started, you might want to just double check over it to make sure it's all set up. So these are off. I'll show you more about dynamic creatives and the offers in another video. Make sure your budget's what you want it to be and it's not $200 instead of $20 a day. The dates, make sure that's not selected. Come down here, Australia. You can even want, if you're targeting different countries at times, you could go, you know, AUS, whack Australia in there as well, just so it's easy to keep track of. 22 to 40, parents. Looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good. Yep, so that all looks good. Make sure there's no spelling mistakes. There's plenty of spaces, so it looks good. Make sure there's nothing weird in here. Sometimes it comes up with little black boxes in here. Sometimes you just want to double check that. But that looks all good. So we can go ahead and hit publish. See what happens. We'll see if any errors come up. It shouldn't. Yeah, cool. So what that will do now is we come back to the campaign level, and it will show, because yours isn't going to say scheduled, yours will say in review. But because there's money being spent on this account, my ads go pretty much into automatic scheduled straight away. Scheduled just means because I've scheduled it to start tomorrow, it's just going automatically into that. We'll have a look at the ad set level. Scheduled. Oh, the ad's still in review. So this is probably what yours will say straight away. Yours will just go in review, and it might be a couple of hours before it goes active or scheduled. If you have scheduled it for tomorrow morning, which I recommend you do, it would come up scheduled after a couple of hours. That's it for this video, guys. Hopefully that gives you a clear idea of how to create your first ad. You want to keep it very basic. You want to keep the audience size large, because to start off with, we just want to test creatives. In the next couple of videos, I'll show you how to test creatives and more about split testing and what we do in that sense. Yeah, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave me a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll see you on the next video where we will be split testing creatives and stuff like that. So I'll see you then. Thanks, guys.